Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren. How are you today, Lauren?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay today. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays at 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever. Mm-hmm. And you can also find us on Instagram as Wilder Show Pod. Our email is podcast@wildershow.com. Or you can engage us wherever on the platform, wherever you find us. Just drop a little comment or a thumbs up or something. So wherever you get your podcast, would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share? Lindsey Graham, 71.
That's young.
Yeah.
Isn't it younger and younger?
Yes.
And I know that's not the most significant part of him.
How it impacts you and me.
Of his untimely passing.
Yeah. How dare he? Because it's so close to how old I am.
I know.
Which is what you were kind of saying.
A little.
71, very strange story. Just returned from Ukraine on Saturday evening. Was on the telephone with the president in the 7 o'clock hour. Mm-hmm. He was dead by 8:30. Isn't that crazy?
Very, very strange.
Dissected aorta, which, does happen.
Sure.
He was scheduled to be on Meet the Press on Sunday morning, and the news broke about his death about 2 a.m. I actually had an alert that I got, and it woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I started watching coverage. And I knew that all the Sunday morning news shows were going to be different because of that. They couldn't be on tape. Because when this happens, you got to go live. And, like you said, it happens, the dissected aorta. But it is a little weird. He was very much involved in and blamed for the war in Iran.
Yeah.
The Iranians. When they had the funeral of the guy that was killed, the dad of the guy that's currently the man now, Khomeini or whatever. When that guy was killed 4 months ago, as it began, and I think he's literally been on ice all this time. And he finally had the funeral a week ago. Mm-hmm. There were massive protests when that funeral was going on. And among the signs that were held up were signs of pictures of leaders in the United States with bullseyes or crosshairs on their forehead.
On their foreheads, yeah.
One was Miriam Adelson. Mm-hmm. One was Donald Trump. One was Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
And there were several other ones, but one of them was Lindsey Graham. Mm-hmm. And Lindsey Graham, even 6 days ago, actually reposted it and said something like, at least they used a good picture of me. Then he said, judge me by my enemies. Right. And on those posters, it said, basically, we're coming after you. It was a hit list.
Yeah.
Is it possible that you could go and do all this and you return and then you have a dissected aorta and you drop dead days after Iran puts a hit out on you? Sure, it's possible. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible for sure. But a lot of people think, maybe not. Not everyone liked Lindsey Graham. Mm-hmm. Very hawkish, particularly for Israel. Arguably, he was Israel's greatest friend in the Senate. That's not me saying it. That's what Benjamin Netanyahu said.
Yeah.
He's our greatest friend. And we mourn the passing of our greatest friend. So the governor of South Carolina will have to name a temporary replacement to be in the Senate seat until the election is in November. He was up for re-election, and it was widely accepted that he would win. But now he obviously is not going to run. Republicans have to have a pretty quick primary to get somebody in there. In the meantime, who do you put in there? You have the whole thing with Mitch McConnell and a razor-thin margin there in the Senate. So you can't really afford to have Lindsey Graham's seat be empty. Mitch McConnell is MIA. You got to do something. So what are you going to do? The president has suggested that his sister, Lindsey Graham's sister, take his place temporarily until January 3rd when the next batch of Congress people, senators and House members can be sworn in, which I don't think is a bad idea.
I was going to ask what you thought about that.
Well, I mean, if they wanted her to be that forever, I would say, well, what are her qualifications to be that forever other than she was the sister of the guy who had qualifications? Mm-hmm. You don't get it, by osmosis. I had lunch with him a lot, so maybe I should take his place.
I know stuff.
Yeah, I know stuff because I'm his sister. But I do think just to put a placeholder in there. And by the way the Senate is doing their business these days, there may be nothing that comes up between now and the end of the year. They've not been the most productive body.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe nothing will come up. But I don't think there's a problem with that. You know the whole story behind that. His parents died when he was young.
Yeah.
And his parents died like within 15 months of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But basically within a year,
Mm-hmm.
he lost both parents. And I think he was 19. He had a sister, 13 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he adopted his sister so that his sister could get his military benefits.
Oh.
So obviously they're close, been close
Yeah.
all these years. So we'll see. I think it'd be fine for the sister to be put in there. Governor Henry McMaster has followed, Lauren, the advice of the president
Mm-hmm.
and has named Senator Graham's sister, Darlene Graham Norden, to fill the senator's seat through the remainder of this term. So I think that's good. We've done that before where somebody's wife is put in place of saying his spouse passes away.
Mm-hmm.
Not a problem with that. He was a politician. He believed, you couldn't make a difference if you don't have contact with the other side. His best friends in the Senate, remember who his best friends were? They were called the Three Amigos.
Yeah.
It was John McCain, Joe Lieberman, and Lindsey
Graham.
They were the Three Amigos.
Uh-huh.
It was Lindsey Graham that suggested when John McCain was running for the presidency, hey, why don't you put Joe Lieberman on there
Mm-hmm.
and have a split ticket, have a dual ticket where the president is of one party and the vice president is from another party.
Uh-huh. Think that would that have gone better for him?
No.
No.
Then along came Sarah Palin.
Right.
And destroyed everything. Oh, those days. Those were crazy days. Don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I mean, and I do. I kind of think, and maybe I'm wrong about this. We view that differently in the rear view mirror, I think, than we did when it was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so.
I remember a lot of cheerleading for Sarah Palin.
People wanted to, they wanted somebody. First of all, it was a woman.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
Sure.
But people thought that just because it's a woman, no.
What do you mean? People finish that sentence. People thought because
I think some Republicans thought just because it's a woman, we'll be able to get a lot of other people to come onto our side.
I'm just saying I think that there was a whole lot more Republican support for her at the time than we're making it sound like there was now.
Okay. Well, it wasn't enough to win. She didn't tip the scales. Look, Lindsey Graham was not always buddy-buddy with the president. I mean, when he was running against Trump, he had some harsh things to say about President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Donald Trump is a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. And if we elect him, we will get destroyed and we will deserve it.
Pretty strong.
That's when he was running against Donald Trump. And then he went on to be great friends with the president, was able to influence the president, I think. The president might have been the last person to talk to him. So he gets back from Ukraine, calls the president, dies. Lindsey Graham, rest in peace. Quickly, Sam Neill died.
I know. I saw that.
That was expected, I think.
He
had
had
a
been
rare
ill.
form of blood cancer. Anyway, Sam Neill. People maybe know him best for Jurassic Park.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wasn't he also Meryl Streep's husband in maybe The Dingo Ate Your Baby? Which was
Never saw that.
It was actually you had to have seen that.
I didn't see it. What was that movie?
It's called A Cry in the Dark.
Never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Never saw A Cry in the Dark. I thought that line was from something else. That was from A Cry in the Dark?
What did you think it was from?
I don't know. Something else I hadn't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe The Dingo Ate Your Baby.
It is from that movie.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh, crazy. No, maybe he was. Maybe he was her husband. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So the dingo ate his baby too. Was that right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh, son of a gun. World Cup. Well, it's finally coming to an end. First time ever that all four teams in the Final Four were the four best teams from the beginning. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Out of all the times. And I wouldn't even remembered or known. It's every 4 years. For some reason, I thought it was every 2 years, but it's every 4 years.
I don't think I would have been able to tell you either.
Yeah. And at the end of this whole thing, soccer will return to its rightful place in American sports as number 7. Nothing will change. It won't change. It won't be higher. It will be just the same. And that's okay.
Sure.
It was a global event for the 7th most popular sport in America, but we love the spectacle. Mm-hmm. And we were great hosts.
I was going to say.
Still are great hosts.
Yeah.
Made sure the world had a blast for their favorite sport. Mm-hmm. That is the definition of what a great host does.
You're right.
The great host makes sure that everyone that comes to the party has a wonderful time.
Goes home with a lot of ranch dressing
that's right.
and great memories.
Memories of Buc-ee's, tons of beef jerky. Yeah, so we were great hosts, but it's not going to change. It's not going to change the popularity of soccer in America. We have a bandwidth. You only have so much. You get to the 7th most popular sport, and you go, I can only do like 4. I can't do that many. But I think being a good host for a sport that is not your national sport is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Is that we got to be a great host for the world to see. The world saw that even though we made them change the name for now to soccer, and thank you, call it soccer. We already have football. Call it soccer. We're going to be a great host. We're going to fill the stadiums. We're going to go to the games. We're going to go to the sports bars and restaurants. We're going to cheer our team on. We're going to cheer your team on after our team is out. Mm-hmm. We're going to enjoy this together. It's an event.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you'll be relegated to place number 7.
Go back home to the lands of no free refills.
That's right. That's right. Take your soccer back to the land with no free refills.
It's a little sad that that's one of the most popular things we had to offer them,
Freedom and refills. But we don't have to have their favorite sport be our favorite sport. It doesn't mean we're lesser because there is a favorite sport in the world. That's okay. And it's not our favorite sport. Look, no matter what you do, cricket will never be a popular sport in America. Don't tell the people of India because 65% of the country watches cricket matches. That is the number 1 sport in that country. That's okay. Have your sport for your country. Ours is not cricket. Ours is not soccer. Soccer is down the list. So different strokes, but big match today. In fact, today may be the biggest of those left, and it happens right here. It's Spain and France.
Ooh.
And I think France is supposed to be the best team of these 4. Then tomorrow it's Argentina and England. I think look for France and Argentina in the finals. The O.J. murders, well, if they were murders, you know what I mean. When he killed Nicole Brown Simpson.
What do you mean
and
if
Ron.
they were murders?
Oh, I mean, if he did
You mean if he really did it?
I mean, I called them the O.J. murders.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? When he killed his ex-wife and Ronald Goldman. Remember what a bunch of people said at the time? Even some jurors after it was all over and they were interviewed after they had let him off the hook.
Yeah.
What did they say about if the proof that would have proven to them that he did it if only there had been what?
If there had been film of him doing it.
Videotape.
Yeah.
If there's a videotape of him doing it, I'd believe it. But they didn't have a videotape.
Anything short of that.
That's
Nothing
right.
short of that.
Blood
Blood
everywhere, gloves everywhere, Bruno Mali's shirt, shoes, whatever it was. Doesn't matter because you know what? There was no videotape. If I can't see it on a videotape, I'm not going to believe it. Here's where we are today. If you see it on a videotape, you don't know you can believe it.
Yeah.
We don't even have that anymore.
No.
Now we have to say, I wasn't there in person. Mm-hmm. Even seeing it with, quote, with our own eyes on videotape doesn't mean it really took place. Donald Trump did not actually fly a plane over liberal cities and dump feces on liberals who were protesting below. That did not happen. It might have looked like it happened, but that was AI.
Yikes.
It didn't really happen. It doesn't mean things we see are not true, but we don't live in the world anymore that we used to live in. We need more these days than the chance to see it for ourselves. And I bring that up because I want to say a word of follow-up on the Charlie Kirk comment that I made last time.
Okay.
We've commented almost not at all in all this time, like 11 months or whatever it's been, about the Charlie. Maybe twice we've made a comment about this, and I want to sort of clear up one thing that I said. You know what Occam's razor is? Occam's razor.
I do.
It's a theory that says of two competing theories of an event, the simpler explanation is the more likely.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it even put more pedestrianly, but I think more clearly. If you hear thundering hooves, don't think zebras.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably horses.
Yeah.
And my only point in the Charlie Kirk thing, and there are a lot of conspiracies out, because I did watch the entire thing. I watched all 5 days of testimony in the preliminary hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I watched every bit of it. And there are going to be some people who believe, we're told the official account, the official narrative could not be true. It's got to be something bigger. And my only point was, there's stuff that doesn't make sense to me, but that's why we have a trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have a trial. So, but my only point was that the common determination that Tyler Robinson, on his own, with one shot from a 30-06, 120 yards away, did this as a radicalized person, motivated by trans or LGBT philosophy or thoughts. Maybe he did. It's happened before. It happened in Minneapolis. It happened in Nashville, other places.
Mm-hmm.
Trans violence is the other option. That was the last question Charlie Kirk ever heard, a question about trans gun violence. And then the shot rang out. Is that what this was? Maybe. Maybe that's the deal. Just another violent trans shooting. That's what we would be left with. But just a little follow-up on the Charlie Kirk, as the preliminary hearing has now completely wrapped up. September 1st, the judge calls both sides back. I think they get either 4 hours each or 4 hours total to make their concluding statements, after which he will determine whether there's enough evidence to hold him over for trial. And of course there will be. And I hope there is a trial. So that comes up on September the 1st. On the final day, they played a video previously not released of the actual moment the shot was taken. And according to some reports, it is remarkably clear, and there is no doubt that it is Tyler Robinson, which is great news, if true, especially given that in all these pictures we've seen, all the videos, we've not seen a single time there was a clear picture of him before. But that doesn't mean they don't have it. That's what trials are for, and assuming there will be a trial, we'll see more of it, and that's good. And others who were in the courtroom said, yeah, it wasn't, they're not describing that right. It wasn't perfectly clear. And so again, it'll all come out in the trial if there is one, but several odd things from last week. If it really happened the way we're told, the official reasoning given by Utah County Prosecutor Jeffrey Gray, what he said was that Robinson's mother told investigators that her son had become more political over the last year and had started to lean more left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. Gray stated on September 16th, the subject had become increasingly concerned about gay and trans rights, and that he had grown apart from his family's conservative views. But we were told that he had never discussed any of this with his intimate roommate who was transitioning. So I don't know. Tyler Robinson, having never talked about trans or gay rights or the agenda or even the name of Charlie Kirk to his trans intimate partner, goes to do this to a person they never talked about before, ever. But, that's what trials are for, assuming there will be a trial. Scattershoot's coming up, but briefly on the war, it's still happening. The war is still happening.
Yeah. Thanks for the update.
U.S. military preparing to reimpose the blockade of Iranian ports. President says that we just might be charging 20% of the value of the cargo to reimburse the U.S. for protection. What? Here's what he said. We're going to keep the strait, and we're going to run it, and we'll become the guardian of the strait, and we should be reimbursed for that. It was like a month ago. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, no, the Strait of Hormuz is an international waterway, and no country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on international waterways. And the beat goes on. Oh, it's time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show, Scattershoot. All right. Hey, can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
Do you think we have some rabbits in the backyard that come in a lot? I've talked about the rabbits before. And they were getting a little familiar the other night.
With each other or with you?
Oh, not with me, no. With each other. I think I could tell which one was the girl rabbit.
Yeah.
She was the one saying, "It's been a long day."
I gotta interrupt you for just a second. I had a friend many years ago when all of our kids were younger, and she was lamenting the fact that her yard had just been torn up by all these rabbits. There were all these bald spots in their yard, and they were trying to have a nice lawn. And she said, that's not the worst part, though. She said, the worst part is the education that they're trying to give my kids every day out in our front yard. So, yeah, not a lot of shame in the rabbit population,
in the rabbit community. But here's my question.
Okay.
Do you think rabbits know they're pregnant? In other words, it's only like a 28 to 32 day gestation. Do you think she goes, okay, in about 25 days? Or does she go, this again? Like it just surprises her? Do you think they really have?
I mean,
I think there's part of me that says, no, they don't think they know. I mean, I don't know. It's like 28 days. I mean, by the time you know, it's already happening again.
Yeah.
Little bunnies. But I was thinking, and I didn't see the event, if it took place. Listen, if she had anything to say about it, it did not take place. Tomorrow is a work day. Anyway, I digress. Welcome to Scattershoot.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Every once in a while, I come across a story, something that I want to share here, and I just know it's the equivalent of poking the bear, and you are the bear. I just know that it's going to be something that's going to be so offensive to you, so provocative, but beyond provocative to offensive, I think.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you, when you know that it's going to happen, do you like that? Are you looking forward to that? Would you want me to not do that and just act like I don't think that way? How would you have me react to make you happiest?
I don't want you to be inauthentic at all. I wouldn't say that I jump on it to rile you up.
That's right. Okay.
I just kind of know to like throw it out there and then stand back a little bit. Gear up. That's right.
All right.
Yeah. More and more people are taking advantage of a policy that their companies are offering them.
Okay.
And employers are starting to have a little bit of a hard time managing this. They've got a lot of people out on leave and they're having a hard time, keeping up with the workload and taking care of things financially for these folks.
What's the benefit?
The benefit is the mental health leave.
Okay. All right.
Can I tell you a little? Tell you a little story.
Tell me more, and then I'll.
So Kendall McGill, 32-year-old project manager, young woman in Baltimore.
Okay.
She was having a hard time getting along with her manager. She had been, this is kind of interesting, and it took me more than one or two read-throughs to get to a point where this sort of stuck out. Okay. So she didn't get along with her manager, and then she'd also recently been assigned the workload of two people. So she was one person, she was having to do the work of two people. Yeah. I wonder why. Before every one-on-one meeting with her manager, she said she just sat in front of a window and took deep breaths to kind of calm her anxiety. She said, I just felt terrible. I was in therapy already, talking about the issue on and off with my therapist. And one day she said, one day I was just like, I'm not going back to work.
Okay.
So last spring, she took a 6-week leave of absence.
Not with pay.
Well, she didn't get pay. She got disability. She was able to take some short-term disability.
Because of stress or whatnot?
So yeah, she got a certification from her therapist to qualify for a job-protected sabbatical through the Family and Medical Leave Act. Right. The time was unpaid. You had asked that question, but her short-term disability insurance replaced about 70% of her income. And she said she used the time to just do nothing. Spent hours sitting on her porch, coloring and playing with her young son. She said it was just the reset that I needed.
Okay.
Took the leave because of her anxiety, not because she was lazy.
Okay.
Nobody even mentioned that she might be lazy, but that was mentioned here. She said, I feel like my baseline was restored.
Okay.
And she was able to go back to that job. She kept that job for another year before she moved on.
She really had a perceived need, and she got only 70% of her money, but it didn't come from her company.
Right.
And then when it was over, she went back and did her job again for some season. So for her, it worked. I mean, it worked.
So.
It worked for her. She was reset or whatever. Now, my question though is, what about the work that needed to be done while she wasn't there?
Well, was somebody else getting all stressed out because now they were having to do the work of two people? Yeah.
It's a contagion of things. She's out. So okay, well, but you're not going to replace her with a temp. You're going to give it to the next person who's going to come back to you, pulling their hair out and going, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back. I don't know. We used to have those days, but it was like one day. You got one sort of blank you day. You could just take off in the spring.
Call it a mental health day.
Yeah, but they'd call it a mental health day, and you would just go to White Rock Lake for the day.
But that wasn't to treat real serious
it wasn't.
anxiety.
No, it wasn't. And I know that's diagnosable.
It is.
So
that plays into this a little bit too.
Because who diagnoses that? It's not really it's a therapist that diagnoses it, and therapists I know therapists, and they can diagnose things. But they write a note, and you turn the note in to somebody, and then somebody says, we'll give you 70%. Where does the 70% of your income come from? It's for disability, so is it for just like taxpayer dollars? Is it funded in any way by, I don't know. I
guess if it's short-term disability, if she had I honestly, I don't even really know how that works. And it might be different from company to company or person to person. But obviously, companies have extended this type of long-term absence for workers when they've needed treatment for eating disorders and substance abuse and suicidal thoughts and things like this. But more people are requesting time off these days for depression and anxiety too. 67% of U.S. employers report an increase in mental health-related leaves of absence. It rises to 74% for large employers. Do kind of wonder if that is because the larger the employer, the better the benefits are, and maybe the easier it is to be approved for something like this. Workers do say that the option to take time off has kept them from burning out. See, one thing that's different about parental leave, too, that's coming. There's an opportunity for an employer to plan for an absence like that. They talked to a cognitive behavioral therapist in Washington, D.C., and she said that she's signed certifications for 6 of her 37 patients to take the family medical leave. And says that she's often the one to suggest it. This is the family medical leave that was signed into law in 1993. It was a big deal then.
The therapist is there to help someone cope with and work through things. Yeah. And the therapist to 6 of her 36 patients, so far, most of those that decided to take 6 months off, it was at her suggestion. You know what I think you really need? I think you need some time just to make money, but to not work. Do you think that would be helpful for you? If you could just sit on the porch and play Legos with the kids for do you think that would that be a good reset? Would you prefer to do that or prefer to go back to this job every day? Which do you think would be better for your mental health?
It's a pretty easy question. Federal law requires workers only to present a certification from a clinician to file for the Family Medical Leave Act, a document that some telemedicine services advertise they can provide in less than 24 hours for as low as $49.
Yeah, just check, make sure it isn't signed by Dr. Bombay.
So, that would seem like you don't even have to have a relationship with a therapist.
So I call up the telehelp and say, I'll tell you, how much it costs to get that thing? Because I'm really stressed. How much it costs to get that? I need that note. What's that note where you write a note? And how much is that? Was that?
Yikes.
Is it like an extra? I can do that. Here's my number. Here's my card. Maybe I'm in a 1929 mentality about what work is and what work is supposed to be, and we're supposed to get out of work.
Do you think it's even, is that why we get suspicious of people though? Or does it not even really matter what the work is and what the work is supposed to be, and whether or not, as opposed to whether or not people are just taking advantage of systems that are in place?
There will always be people who will do that.
Yeah.
But I think when we have a system that encourages it, that's a real problem.
Well,
in other words, if somebody seeks this out and they find out, and they're one out of 32 who goes to a counselor,
it was like 6 out of her 32
No, that's
patients.
my point. If only one, if they had sought it out and they said, "Is there anything you can do?" And I assume it's a woman counselor, and she says, "Listen, this is kind of rare, but maybe you really need to take 6 weeks or whatever the time is.
Leave, yeah.
A leave of absence, so you don't just go mad." But when she says, "Yeah, 6 of my 36, and I mean, I've recommended it to all of them, and people are putting up, ads on the internet saying, 'Hey, don't you want to have some, mental time off for $49? We can give you a note from Dr. Bombay, and you'll be able to turn it into your boss.'" And they have to do it. It's the law. When the system, that's the only part that pokes the bear.
Well,
is not the individuals. I'm sympathetic about people and mental health, but the system should not be set up to scam.
Well, in the meantime, about a third of U.S. employers have expanded their employee assistance programs to include therapy via text, online cognitive behavioral therapy, things that really are designed to help people who are dealing with mental health issues. And I think, that's wonderful. And hopefully that will really help people who need the help and aren't just looking for a 6-week vacation.
Yeah, we'll stave it off.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it really the job of the person who is called to care for those who need help, the therapist? Isn't the therapist's job to help you deal with what is, not to remove the things that are in the way? I mean, you know what I mean?
Well,
if you just remove all the things that are in the way, then you're not really helping people work through anything. You're just removing the things that irritate them.
Yeah.
By the way, I have a long list, things that irritate me.
With coworkers.
With whoever. Lots and lots of people. So I didn't know I could just sign up and have those things removed.
People who are hoping you would take a 6-week leave.
No wonder they want me to go away.
How much privacy do you think you have in a Waymo?
That is a really good question.
I mean, we know there are cameras. Well, first of all, Waymo. We've talked about Waymo a lot. Waymo is the
driverless
self-driving,
taxi.
Self-driving taxis in several. Are they still? Have they been stopped in Dallas?
I think
are they here?
they're back now.
In Dallas,
Yeah,
they're back.
I think so.
Okay. I don't get to the big city very often.
That's right.
But the only place I've actually ridden in Waymos was in San Francisco. But several times there, I've enjoyed all of my rides. Never really. I mean, of course, I've never been partaking in any nefarious activity. But police in San Mateo, California, about a week and a half ago, posted on social media that they'd apprehended a pair of teenagers from a Waymo driverless robo-taxi after the company had alerted authorities to suspected criminal activity. So this is one of several incidents involving video surveillance of passengers and others by these autonomous vehicles. It's kind of raising questions about what the limits of privacy in such vehicles are. So these particular 15-year-olds, they were allegedly drinking alcohol and shooting toy guns from the car.
Nice.
So Waymo's systems detected this behavior, and that triggered a safety response, after which the company disabled the vehicle and contacted police. I don't know if the kids were like locked in the car until
That's
the
a good
police
question.
could get there or not. But no, experts say the detention of the two teens in San Mateo highlights a potential trade-off between privacy and convenience. Questions the extent to which companies that are similar to Waymo are required to hand over this private data, the audio and the video of passengers in situations where a crime is suspected. So on the company's website, it says that as many as 29 cameras in their cars provide an all-around view.
29.
29 cameras.
But that's not all in. That's not all in.
No, it's inside and outside, in and around. There's another case going on right now where one of the cameras on the outside of the car caught somebody else doing something bad.
Somebody that is not a passenger.
Somebody that's not a passenger. It just happened to catch somebody on. Yeah. So
interesting.
I mean, the kids didn't get arrested. Their parents came and got them. But like somebody else said, if you were in a taxi cab, there are things you're not allowed to do in the taxi cab. If there was a live person in there who saw you doing that, he would either tell you to stop or report the behavior. So should that be any different in a car where there is no driver?
That's a good question. I've wondered about that. Even with you take an Uber, the Uber, most of those Ubers now have cameras that face outward, in front of the car, but also that face inside. I mean, you are on camera when you're in an Uber. So if you're back there, mouthing to the person next to you, I can't understand a word from this guy. Where's he from or whatever. That's going to be picked up. That's a good question about privacy. I think it would have been a much better story if the Waymo thing had notified police and then driven the kids to the police station. And that would have been, that's service. What?
You only thought you were on the way to the party.
That's right.
Well, before the Waymo had even reported this bad behavior, in San Mateo, the police department had gotten calls that somebody was shooting a firearm from a motor vehicle. So the guns looked real, and people were afraid of what was going on in this car. And also, as I mentioned, the occupants were described as being possibly intoxicated.
Crazy kids.
Crazy kids. So the Swift-Kelces are not even 2 weeks into their marriage. I guess they're 2 weeks into their marriage today.
And they said it wouldn't last.
Well, so far it's still lasting.
2 weeks, yeah.
Of course it's still lasting.
Awesome.
But it's funny that you should say that because people are already talking about, how long they think it will last.
Do that. I was kidding around last time.
Yeah.
I said I wish them months and months of happiness. But obviously, we
want them to.
Anyone who gets married,
that's right, to be successful in their marriage.
That's right, exactly.
Well, the country's #1 divorce lawyer has weighed in. James Sexton, how would you like to have that distinction that you are the country's #1 divorce lawyer? He says that they have a pretty good chance. He believes to go the distance. To stay married.
All right.
Stay married for the long run. That's all the way.
Quite the pronouncement.
Well, he doesn't lay out a whole lot of reasons that he thinks just kind of he thinks they look like they're really in love, and everything that he's heard sounds really good, and the fact that they're both public people, that they'll understand each other's lives, they'll understand the time commitment that their chosen careers take. They will have to both carve out time for each other to be successful. So similar stresses, similar responsibilities. He did say, though, that they have a better chance at a successful marriage because she is the musician and he is not. And he said, I think it would be harder for them to go the distance if he was the musician and she had some other career. And you want to know why he says that?
Because of promiscuity on the road.
Yes.
More likely to be men who do it than women who are. He
said it's harder for male musicians to not engage in road cheating.
Yeah, I think that's probably we are different creatures. We're motivated differently. Obviously, your commitment should be enough to quell all that. But setting that aside, I can see that the temptation for women would be quite low, probably. Harkening back to my rabbit story from earlier.
Well, in this case, Travis Kelce's job has him on the road too.
I know. Yeah,
Maybe not the same kind of life as a musician.
I don't think that
but-
guy knows what he's talking about. I don't think that guy's thought this through. It seems to me football players enter a different city every single week.
Yeah.
And they're clearly football players, right?
Right.
Everybody knows that they're football players.
Mm-hmm.
That there might be some people, roadies are not just, or, the people that you meet, they're not just people that do that that hang around the hotels or whatever
Right.
for singers.
No.
Sometimes, if you're a football player, or baseball players, different city all the time.
Yeah.
A girl in every port.
Yeah. So I was feeling really good for their chances
So you talked
at
to me.
first. Well, until it started to occur to me,
Yeah.
he's going to be on the road too, even after he's not playing football anymore. Even if he goes into the broadcast portion of it, he's going to be on the road too.
Yes. See, I think that guy hasn't that number one divorce lawyer has not thought this through. I don't think. I don't think so. I don't think he's thought it all the way through. But I noticed they have a dog now. Did they get a dog?
There were reports that they have a dog now.
A dog was seen with them anyway.
Big white fluffy dog. Yeah, they might have had the dog. They might have had the dog for a long time, and we didn't know about it. Yeah.
No, I think it's a new dog. I think because it's a puppy, but it's a big dog.
How could you tell it was a puppy?
I could tell.
Yeah.
I think it may be like a Newfoundland.
Wow.
It's a big white dog.
Mm-hmm.
Those are huge dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You ride them into town. I don't think it's a doodle. Doesn't look like it's something doodle.
It didn't really.
Didn't
to
look
me
like
either.
a doodle to me. So we'll see. I got the dog. Hey, maybe they've got a dog and my picket fence and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Also, I want to say something about. I've had like really negative things to say. I think I've been perceived as someone who doesn't love cats, maybe. And it's occurred to me, I don't really have anything against cats.
Sure.
I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I was watching a movie where somebody picked up the cat and kind of cuddled the cat close to it. And I thought, well, if I could do that
That'd
to
be
a
nice.
cat, I think I'd probably feel different
Well, sure.
than I do
Of course.
about cats.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I've never thought of you as a cat hater. I mean, we have cats around.
Yeah.
We have cats around the studio. And I
On the
like,
outside of
on
the
the
studio.
On the outside, of course, outside. I'm for cats being outside.
Yeah.
Cats are an outside adventure because their job is outside. They serve their purpose out of doors.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they are most. For me, that's how they are most valuable.
Mm-hmm. Little contract laborers.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about aging well.
Yeah.
And steps for aging well, things you have to do. And I think a lot of the time it can sort of come across as can't do anything fun anymore.
Sure, he does. Yeah.
And there's a Dr. Zeke Emanuel, he's a renowned U.S. health policy physician.
Okay.
And he's written a new book. He's also an oncologist and a bioethicist.
Ah, there you go.
He's written a book called Eat Your Ice Cream, 6 Simple Rules for a Long and Healthy Life. And he was motivated by a few of the things that I think are the kind of things that we get tripped up on here, talking about all the things that we have to do to age well. In fact, he said it's mostly anger at the wellness industrial complex, selling people things that are expensive and clinically unproven, the latest trends, whole body scans, lots of supplements, things that are kind of marketed as anti-aging elixirs. The first one, he says, don't be a schmuck. That means avoid self-destructive risks.
Okay.
Don't smoke. Obviously, smoking is not good for you.
Terrible.
Vaping is not good for you.
Yeah.
He says also recommends limiting alcohol to 3 or 4 drinks a week and avoiding distracted driving. I think that's good for people of
Anybody.
any
Yeah,
age.
sure. Yeah.
This is another thing you're going to love. He says talk to people, strike up conversations. He says when I get into an Uber, the first thing I do is ask the person, where are you from? He says we're social beings. We're programmed to interact. So you just need to, not everyone is going to take the initiative. So you take the initiative. Casual interactions are meaningful. They can promote positive feelings.
Yeah, I can do that, as you know.
I know.
I can do that.
I know.
And I think whenever I've done it, I think it's gone quite well. I don't think I've, I don't feel put upon for having to do it. I don't feel like I'm, bothering anyone necessarily. But I prefer silence
Yeah.
most of the time. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Not always.
I don't know that I'd say that about you.
Yeah,
that
I
you
know.
prefer silence.
Yeah, well.
That's not my experience with you.
Yeah. Well, well, like if I went to
You wanna move
something.
on?
No, I went to something. I went to something last week, and I'm not going to detail what it was, but it was one of those things where you do have to interact with people, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Look, I can do it. That's not the question.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you were done, when that was over and you found yourself maybe in your car alone or the next time you were alone, did you feel like a sense of sort of like the stress, the social stress kind of leaving your body?
I don't, for good or ill, I don't get stressful in those situations. I don't feel like I have to. I do it. The occasion called for it, and I did it, and I think I did it well.
Yeah.
And when it was over, that's what the situation called for. We used to go out and do remote broadcasts in radio, and you got to talk to people and spin the prize wheel, and ask somebody about their kids and all these kinds of things, and so how long you been? Oh, that's great. All those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I can do all that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to suggest it's insincere. It is sincere. It's just, I wouldn't seek out the opportunity to find out all those things.
And I remember doing all of that, and I remember not having a problem with it at all, and feeling very comfortable in that atmosphere. But since we don't do that, and since I now spend so much more time with limited contact with people I don't know very well, let's say I'm not talking about family or the time that you and I spend working, or when we are working with other people that we work with from time to time. But I have noticed sometimes in social situations where there are a lot of people that I don't know. I'm not necessarily aware of the stress, but I'm aware of the absence of it when I'm out of that place.
I would not have
sort
guessed
of
that.
a letdown, sort of, in a good way, like
But you don't
a
mean
relaxation. A relaxation.
Gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not observed you in lots of situations like that, but my whole thing is every situation calls for you to do what it calls you to do.
Yeah.
And I like to limit the ones that call me to do what I don't want to do to a small number, but sometimes you can't. And when you have to do it, you have to do it.
I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to limit it. It's just the way life is of right now. Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, so number 3 is his most controversial step or advice. Don't retire.
Well, I've said don't retire, refire.
Yeah, well,
refire. Find a thing, whatever it is. Maybe it's volunteerism. Maybe it's something you go feed pack the lunches, do the Meals on Wheels, or do the whatever, work for a church or volunteer at the. I've always said that my dad had lived longer. I could see him, working at the ballpark in Arlington.
Oh,
being a guy that works out there, if he lived out there near there. And we kid around and say that, the greeter at Walmart, you find something to give you some structure.
That's exactly what he says.
Structure is good.
Structure and a schedule.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Even if
Totally
he says it's obviously that's not realistic for everyone. Lots of people are going to retire, but if you're going to, you have to think through how you'll find structure, purpose, and a social circle. You got to have a reason to get up in the morning, and that helps prevent all kinds of things, but especially the cognitive decline.
Some people do, let's say guys, if they had a little money and they retired, their structure might be that they play golf on Tuesday and Saturday morning, and they have breakfast with guys or whatever, with your buds, and you have a gathering, you play cards or whatever. You go up for lunch every brunch or whatever it is on Sunday with your friends or whatever. You have that kind of schedule. I think people need structure.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Number 4, my favorite, eat your ice cream. It says, of course, a balanced diet matters. You should make some shifts, maybe limit some other sugary snacks and things like that. But if you have a treat at the end of the day,
Nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
agree.
Something to look forward to, something to enjoy, and of course, everything in moderation. Number 5, you got a regular movement. There's those 6 steps that you were talking about. Maybe a little bit more than that. We all know this. I mean, if you don't know this from every place else you're getting it, you know it just from here because we talk about this all the time. Aerobic exercise and strength training too. The last one I think is the hardest, and it's sleep. Sleep is fundamental to good health. If you give sleep short shrift, you're more likely to gain weight and be more sedentary, and not with the sleep aids. You know, taking something to help you sleep.
Really
It's,
sleep.
it's not real sleep. It's not doing the kinds of. It's not cleaning out your brain, like which is the purpose of sleep.
Yeah.
One of the purposes of sleep.
Restorative
and if you're taking
sleep.
if you're taking a sleep aid, it's not
False.
doing the things that sleep is supposed to do. But I think that is a challenge for, if not all people, certainly people our age, maybe more so women my age. I can still practice really good sleep hygiene and just have a terrible night's sleep.
We've talked about this before. I don't really need that much sleep. Or maybe I do, and I just never get it. And I've learned to live on less.
Some people do need less sleep
I think
than
that's
others.
I think that's me. So for me, a little bit of that goes a long way. And otherwise it almost feels, I don't mean lazy, but it almost feels like a certain number is probably far less than what most people need. That is the Wilder Show podcast. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before, on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, every now and then on the TikTok. Also on Instagram, Wilder Show Pod. The email is podcast@wildershow.com, or you can just engage us wherever you listen on those platforms. Just give us a thumbs up or a comment or whatever. So wherever you get your podcasts, would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share? And Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time.
do do